here at South by Southwest. My name is Amy King, and I'm Vice President of Client Success at Bazaarvoice. And we're here today with Allison Ellsworth.
Hi, thank you for having me. Allison Ellsworth here, founder of Poppi Soda.
Amazing. Today is going to be an iconic discussion, and we are so excited to have the opportunity.
Let's go.
All right. Let's see. Let's start with some rapid fire Q&A.
Love.
All right. One word that your team would use to describe you.
Real. It's one of our core values at Poppi. We keep it real. And I love that because I love feedback. I will keep the feedback real, and then we'll kind of get to that decision together.
I love that. I love that. And I think being real is it's the best way to be authentic and to show up for your people, to show up for your community, to show up for your brand. So I love that.
Yes.
What a great word. All right. What's the last thing? I'm a shopper. We were talking about this a little bit earlier today. What's the last thing you added to your cart based on a recommendation?
Ooh, so I'm super obsessed with smells and scents and candles, and I found this incredible brand on Preston Lane, and it's cleaner for your house and it smells good afterwards versus like Lemon Pledge.
Okay, so, on Preston Lane.
On Preston Lane, and it's clean, incredible ingredients, so I'm here for it.
Okay, amazing. I'm going to have to go save that, so I'm going to add that to my cart here next. My last one was actually the Ruti pants, R-U-T-I. I don't know. It's like a new brand of pants. TikTok got me on it. And I have to say, I'm a big fan. They're fantastic. They're like an elevated, not athletic pant, but like an everyday pant, but they feel like workout clothes. They're amazing.
Wait, I'm going to have to check these out.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to add yours to cart. You can add mine to cart. Love it. All right. How about the next one? This one's like too easy, but what's your favorite Poppi flavor?
A lot of people would think strawberry lemon, but it's actually grape. And I don't like anything grape except for Poppi, so it's a little treat. What about you?
I love that. Okay, so I'm a cherry limeade girl.
I love that one.
But the Shirley Temple.
Okay,
I've got 4 of them in my fridge right now, so I really love the Shirley Temple. But cherry limeade's my kind of go-to.
I'm here for it.
Yes. Okay. Love it. All right. Now that we're going to kind of move into a little deeper dive. Poppi's mastered the art of being internet famous, and while building a real world empire at the exact same time. Tell me about a recent campaign or initiative that you're particularly proud of.
Well, I have to talk about our recent Super Bowl ad. And why I'm so proud of it is every time we did a Super Bowl ad, the first year we were talking about we are the future of soda. We were putting putting our flag in the ground saying like, hey, we are here, almost saying it before we were ready.
Right.
The second year, we were all about soda occasions and like when you should drink a Poppi with a burger or a pizza. But this year, post Pepsi acquisition, people were really looking at us like, is Poppi going to change?
Right.
And what I think was just so cool, we were able to just do a fun ad with Charlie XCX. And at the end of the day, it was just about vibes, which is so on brand for us to just be like, let's just let it be about vibes.
Totally. I love that. And I do agree. Vibes is so on brand for y'all. And just thinking about the Super Bowl, talk about iconic in every way. Your first year that you did a Super Bowl ad, it was a floater ad. Is that right?
The floater ad, and we bought it like 5 days before the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yes, it's a true story.
So like a true impulse buy,
yes.
Maybe.
Well, it was
5 days before, probably well thought.
It was us moving at the speed of culture. We fell in love with the creative. So it was like a true brand story. And we were like, this creative needs to be seen. What's the biggest stage? Super Bowl.
Sure.
So we did have a floater ad, which means you have no idea where it's going to be placed within the Super Bowl.
Okay, it could have been the closing ad.
Before, thank you for watching the NFL.
Right.
And we were so lucky it ended up landing 1 minute before halftime, right before Usher went on.
Okay.
And this is the 49er Kansas game with like the Taylor effect.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And so I like to say it's like one of the most watched Super Bowl ads of all time. Don't fact check me on that. But, that was just such an iconic Super Bowl.
Right. I'm so sure. I mean, you opened for Usher, so that's pretty awesome.
That is the best line. Can I get that quote?
You're right. I love that. Okay. Now, so Bazaarvoice is in the business of UGC. And so let's talk a little bit about the UGC pivot. One thing I love about Poppi is how your fans basically do the talking and the advertising for you. And so when you see people posting their own unboxing videos, so people like me, not the paid creators, but just everyday consumers that are out there doing their own unboxing videos, or they're making their own soda recipes, and especially now with everything, the dirty sodas and all of that that's out there. How does that raw, unpolished content from your community shape your next big move?
Honestly, it's the most important foundation of why Poppi is so special, and it's our community. And I think a lot of people think, oh, the content that you guys probably see a lot is founder content and office content, creator content, but we have hundreds of thousands of people making Poppi content. And we actually work with a lot of our community. We'll put paid behind organic people that just like love our product. So one of my favorite stories is there was this one girl, she had her baby on her lap, just a regular mom. And she's like, this Poppi is a Dr. Pepper dupe. And we reached out to her and we put paid behind it. And we're like, this is iconic. This is a great ad.
Right.
It changed this lady's life. She is now a huge influencer, has, hundreds of thousands of followers.
Right.
And it's like this thing that we were just like able to grow with her. And so it shows that like UGC is like where we were built.
Right.
And I love that, honestly, if you kind of look back at all of our stuff, we've never done big lifestyle shoots. We've always worked with like real people, our community, our creators. Like we're not really big on being like super high gloss with like all of that.
Right.
And so it's, I think it is the core and foundation of who we are.
I love that. And I think too, when I think of you, you also are so authentic in how you show up. And I think about, years ago, I was following you. I was one of those TikTok impressions long ago. When you were sitting on your couch, just talking about what you were trying to solve for and what it was, this brand that at the time probably was like just at the very beginning of being a brand and an idea and a thought. But just so cool to see what it's turned into today, and then to change lives, like you just mentioned.
So many.
That's incredible.
It's the foundation of just, honestly, when we first blew up on TikTok was just me sitting on the couch in my PJs, hair was wet after the shower, Friday night, and just talking about the brand. And honestly, being the authentic and awkward and a little cringy is really what I think people connected with.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that so much. Well, what makes your team's approach to engaging with those creators? You talked about you've got this whole community out there right now. So what's your team's approach to engaging with those creators compared to a traditional kind of top-down brand strategy, that kind of creator approach? How do they do that?
So we've been very intentional to keep everything in-house. So we have community management in-house. Our influencer creator team is all in-house. So we are talking to these people directly.
Right.
We don't use agencies for any of that. And what that does is create personal relationships with our community and our creators that I try to tell people all the time. And they might say, well, that's just too much work to do. And I'm like, but that high touch is honestly what makes it special, because then when we have a big campaign or you're doing a Super Bowl in 5 days and you're trying to put together like who's available to post, you can hit your community really quick. And it's like your loyals are going to come help you, and you end up supporting each other, and your community shows up. It's funny, if anyone even like says a single bad thing online about us, it's our community and our creators coming and being like, hey, that flavor doesn't suck. Right. We love that one or something like that. So I think that us having that special high touch feeling is our team is like best in class when it comes to that.
Without a doubt. And I think too, it also, I think, talks a lot about you as a leader in leading that strategy. When you said your word that the team would describe you as real, that's also the brand.
Very.
And so I love that. It's just a direct reflection of that too, and that connection that you have with the community.
It's funny, as being a leader, that word, it's so interesting in the way of entrepreneurs don't start companies knowing how to be leaders.
Right.
I was taught how to be a leader because of my team. I had to read books. I had to do podcasts. I had to learn to lead. And through that feedback loop that I was talking about and being real is honestly what made me the good leader I am today.
I love that. And you started your career in oil and gas. Is that right?
I did, which is so opposite and absolutely such a different world.
Right. But sales.
It's sales. And you know what? Putting yourself out there, it was very entrepreneurial. I'd be on the road by myself running these huge multi-million-dollar projects, working with the city council and landowners and the Indian reservation and the BLM. And it was just really fun. It taught me how to be like a businesswoman in a world of all men. Right. Basically, my whole life has been that way, and to allow myself to be confident standing in that room and know that I belong.
That's amazing. So inspiring too. Okay, let's see. Another question on leaning into the voice of the fans. So when we think about just like the folks that are diehards for Poppi and leaning into that, how has that moved the needle for you, not just in social engagement, but in building that long-term loyalty and that long-term brand loyalty?
You know, early on, if you keep in mind, we launched Poppi March 3rd, 2020, the first week of COVID. So we really built our community online for the first 2 years because the traditional ways of marketing they kind of went out the window. And so we found a way to listen to them and become part of their life in the way of, you know, we sent out like pink sweatsuits to 2,000 fans and our community and creators, and it went so viral. And they were just like, we need more, we need more, we need more. And so that led us to launching our own clothing line with Target. We had a 2-month FOMO drop that was in and out. And it was just like this overwhelming call that like more people wanted it. Right. And at the end of the day, I was just like, wait, is this happening? Like such a cool thing that we were able to do that. And so I just think that another fun story is our community. We had a root beer flavor and it was in a tan can, and me and my husband didn't like quite love it. Some people loved it, but our community was telling us it sucked.
Okay.
And we listened.
Right.
We changed the formula, we changed the packaging, and it was so cool to see then the sales just like skyrocket afterwards. And we made fun of ourselves. And we were like, we leaned into the comments from our community, and it ended up being great.
I am, in my volunteer life, I'm a volunteer down on the UT campus, so at the University of Texas, and you cannot escape Poppi.
I love it.
So I'm an advisor for Chi Omega sorority down there, and I feel like I'm just surrounded by Poppi anywhere I go, anywhere I look. If you go down there, it is the only drink that they have in their hands at any given time. You may see in a wall a water bottle, but like aside from that.
You should tell them I was a Chi Omega.
No way. Were you really?
At UNT.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's so fun.
That's so fun.
All right, let's see. We're now going to lean into leadership. I love having an opportunity to sit and talk with other female leaders. I find it so inspiring, and I always, from everyone I meet, especially when it is a successful businesswoman, I feel like there's such nuggets that I can carry forward in my own life. So you've gone from a Shark Tank pitch when you were 9 months pregnant.
No big deal.
Didn't you deliver like 10 days later?
I did.
Okay, that's wild. Okay, we'll get into that next. And then from that pitch really to a household name, and then to being acquired by Pepsi. I mean, what a dream come true. And so talk about like one career moment, and I'm sure there's been many, and all of those things that we just talked about that's really shaped how you lead your team.
I think getting my ego checked.
Okay, I love that.
And I think it's because most entrepreneurs start companies thinking they know everything.
Right.
And with Poppi, we were one of, if not the fastest growing beverage in the history of beverage, from 0 to 500 million in revenue in like 4.5 years. I had to learn really early that if we were going to support that growth, I had to let my guard down and ask for help. And that's not easy to do when it's your baby and you've done every job at the company, but I had to make that decision really quickly.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I had to get like a business coach. I had to read books. I had to be like very open with the team about how, you know, this was a growth opportunity for them and for me to bring new people in.
Right.
Because I will say, like, I led the culture piece at Poppi where it was like the heartbeat and the culture and the fun environment. And so change is hard on everybody.
For sure.
So through that process, I actually feel like it was a really great opportunity for me to learn and grow as a leader that made me even a better leader today. And I don't think a lot of founders talk about that. They always just talk about the success, but they don't talk about the hard times that you go through and those learning moments.
For sure.
And I think it's important to acknowledge that.
Yes, absolutely. And then we'll end here on a high note. What energizes you most about the future of the Poppi community right now?
I think what energizes me the most is now we have the ability to get Poppi to more places that just were not possible with the Pepsi partnership because, for example, we were the official soda of the Lakers and we weren't even allowed to be sold in the stadium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's all these like on-premise
But it's
contracts.
such a cultural, like, to be the official beverage of the Lakers feels very
It was so
culturally
cool. It was
relevant.
so cool. But now we have access to stadiums. Now we can be in Subway. We just launched Starbucks this week. You know, like there's all of these new opportunities that if we want to truly revolutionize soda for the next generation, that's the opportunity. Like I always think it's so cool. I want Poppi to be the soda my kids and grandkids know as soda. And I'm seeing that, and I'm living the American dream.
You are living the American dream, and you are such an inspiration. Thank you so much for the time today. I have enjoyed this conversation so much. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.